Hello everyone, this is part 39 of What If Naruto Learned the Secret of Shadow Clone, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Exiting the train station and being greeted by a cheery sun and plenty of fluffy white clouds, Tayuya couldn't help but grin as she is flanked by Fu and Naruto. New battle clothes including blue cargo pants that were lightly armored, a deep red tank top covered by a black windbreaker and last, her headband proudly displaying her Uzushiho crest. The only thing missing might be the cage's hat. Not that they had one, yet. But that would be Naruto's to wear first. Kanabo unsealed and ready on her back, she leads the way as they weave through the crowds towards the bridge. Mind drawn inward as they walked, Tayuya could say proudly that she had come a long way from the scrappy and foul-mouthed underdog that she had been under Orochimaru. She had worked hard not only to change herself and her mannerisms, but the way people perceived her. Sure, she still had a bit of a foul mouth and was quick to throw hands or step in to stop a brawl, but she was also the first to offer a hand in kindness. Children all over the city knew her, parents appreciated her, and even now people she didn't even know knew her by name. She had become a valued member of her community. Nearly as beloved as Naruto to some. Smiling as she waved to several construction workers heading towards the station most likely bound for the ninja fortress, she considered that it was a positive change. Almost unnoticed, Tsunade sidled up next to her as they reached the market just before the bridge. Shall I prepare for anything, Tayuya? Shaking her head, Tayuya looks to the older woman who had given her such encouragement when they first found their way here and started things. No, we'll keep those assholes far away from Uzu and wave. I'd say just tell the others to have a big meal ready for us when we return. Smiling and nodding, Tsunade lightly pats Tayuya on the shoulder. You've come a long way and become so important to us all. Don't do anything reckless. Rolling her eyes, Tayuya grins. I'm not my husband, I'll be fine. Seeing Tsunade fade back into the crowd and still wondering how she did that so effortlessly, Tayuya squares her shoulders. She would protect this city that valued and respected her. That accepted her as a person, not a tool. She would prove that she wasn't the small little girl that only looked out for herself. Fu bounces along next to her as they hit the bridge. They sure do love you here, huh? Naruto chimes in from her other side. You're like Uzushiho's big sister. Chuckling, Tayuya nods while adjusting her jacket and checking the seals within it. It's changed me. The responsibility. She looks forward with a smile. I wouldn't take any of it back either. She inwardly frowns, however, as she feels her chakra flux just a bit. Not enough to stop her, but enough to know her time was running out. She'd make it through this battle, no one else had the strength to do so. Behind her, Fu and Naruto poke at each other as they walk along, Naruto walking with her hands linked behind her head. You know, after we trash these guys and I get to eat them, maybe we should send word to Kumo that they're next. Fu shook her head. We have to wait for your brother, we can't go picking fights with other nations. Says you, I can blow them sky high just like he can. Tayuya grins and looks over her shoulder. Oh yeah, with what chakra? Sure, Naruto was still stronger than most, but her chakra was limited. She knew it too if the grunt she issued was any indication. Just saying, with some prep time and a little help, I could wipe Kumo off the map. Fu nods and nudges her girlfriend. Maybe, but there's always another option. Explosions are a perfectly good option. Tayuya shakes her head, just like him. Hands in her pockets as they walk, she consults the clouds as they continue towards the end of the bridge as the crowd begins to thin out. Fu idly listens as Naruto rants about what she'll do first when she gets a real body, but there was something, whether it be Chome or her own nose was telling her something. Eyes locking onto Tayuya, a feeling stirs in her mind. Tayuya, is everything alright? Looking back and slightly confused, Tayuya shrugs. Never better. Why? Could she know? Was her Biju helping her senses? Shaking her head with a look of confusion on her own face, Fu shrugged. Just. I don't know. Don't push yourself so much, okay? Mentally sighing with some relief, Tayuya grins and nods. Don't worry, after this I'm taking some time off. Naruto is due back soon and I'm going to do nothing but sleep in and rest. All this paperwork is going to drain me dry. Thankful that Naruto seemed just as lost, because if there was a chance she found out, there was no doubt in Tayuya's mind that Naruto would know soon enough. And that wasn't an option. Come on, let's make this quick and paint the countryside red with their blood. Naruto cheers, a fist in the air as they take to the trees. I'm all for that. Let's get hunting. Fu nods quietly, eyes still on Tayuya as they ran. Yeah, let's make it quick. Arg, are we there yet? Does it look like we're there yet? I'm bored, Kakuzu. I haven't killed anyone in so long. I need sacrifices. Hidan lazily rolled his head left and right as they walked along, only barely content with the fact that Kakuzu continued to assure him that they were close to Uzushiho. They could just barely begin to smell an ocean breeze, just a hint of it over the normal sense of the wood life around them. Kakuzu, however, was a bit more focused, frowning as he could feel that something was following them. Quietly attempting to catch whoever it was, he was only ever met with bird in flight or birds flitting about the branches in song. Hidan snickers as he catches the older nin again watching the trees, still thinks something is up with the birds. We're being watched, you would do well not to be so lax. Hidan shrugged, bird aren't real anyway. Bet it's one of them. How do you figure birds aren't real? Have you ever taken one apart? Well, no, exactly. They always stay out of reach, you can't touch them, but they can watch you. Those creepy beady little eyes of theirs. Always watching. Waiting. Little monsters. Kakuzu raises an eyebrow as he looks at the zealot. You are insane. Thanks. Wanting to get to the bottom of Hidan's conspiracy theory, they both are interrupted as a seagull buzzes just over their heads. On alert, they both watch as the thing lands in front of them and pecks at the ground, searching for bugs. Kakuzu frowns while Hidan laughs. Man, you're jumpy. It's just a bird. Kakuzu shakes his head as they continue on, though the bird refuses to acknowledge them. It's a very calm bird. I'm telling you, they aren't real. Watch. I'll kick it. Turning to them and freezing Hidan in place out of surprise, the bird's mouth opens unnaturally wide. Please. Die quickly. The woman's voice was cold, indifferent, and gave them little warning as the bird expanded for a breath before exploding and sending both men in different directions into the woods in a flash of intense fire and light. Easily righting himself and tossing off his burned-off cloak, Kakuzu is immediately set upon by a fast-moving Fu and a harder-hitting Naruto. So, you were watching us. Naruto slaps an exploding note on his chest before Fu swoops around to carry her away by her shoulders. You bet your ass, old man. The explosion wouldn't be enough to kill him, they knew that, but it was more than enough to separate him further from Hidan, which is what they wanted. Divide and conquer was the game of the day. Dropping down together on a branch, Naruto fist-bumped Fu. Let's get our payback. Fu nods, pulling free a kunai for each hand before leaping away. I'll take point. Naruto already has a fistful of seals ready as she works on keeping to Kakuzu's blind spots as he runs along the ground to keep away from the flying and weaving Fu. I'll blow his legs off. Kakuzu grins as his shoulders begin to expand and change. You will try. On the opposite side of the road, Hidan was sent further away, body tumbling through the air and breaking through thick tree branches before landing on the ground in a heap. The wooded area here had tree cover that was beginning to thin as they were reaching the coast, but it was still dense enough to tree hop. A fact that Tayuya was taking advantage of as she stood over the grunting Hidan as he made it back to his feet. Any chance you want to give this up and surrender? Kanabo bouncing on her right shoulder, she considered every angle that she could. Frowning and giving her the finger, Hidan finally stood up straight and pulled free his scythe, surrendering to some weak bitch like you. No way. You'll make a wonderful sacrifice to Lord Jashin. Sighing dramatically, Tayuya nods and readies herself. Guess I'm just going to have to beat you into a fine paste then. Jumping away as Hidan's red three-bladed weapon slices clean through the branch she had been standing on, Tayuya keeps her chakra usage low as she dashes in to smash her kanabo into his side to send him pinballing about the area. Attempting to keep him off balance, Tayuya is there as his body rolls to a stop, spiked club already in motion in a low swing that caught Hidan full in the chest to send him up and smashing into a tree trunk, cratering it and nearly toppling the tree that was thicker than he was. I thought you'd be a challenge at least. Tayuya was forced to jump away as Hidan's scythe was retracted and streaked through the area she had been standing in, but already she could tell that this environment would tangle up his cable if he attempted to throw it again. Hopefully he wouldn't figure that out and make this easy for her. Grunting and spitting blood, Hidan drops to the ground and works his shoulder to make sure everything was in order before hefting his side in a defensive position. I'm immortal, you bitch. Smacking me around and clubbing me isn't going to do anything but piss me off. Launching his scythe towards her again, he frowns as she bats it away easily and causes the cable to tangle within the tree above him. Maybe I like pissing you off. Dashing forward and readying another swing, Tayuya's momentum is stopped as Hidan pulls free his trailing spike, cutting loose from the tangled cable and holding her back with his superior strength. Hey, got ya now. Taking a swipe at her, Tayuya just makes it away as Hidan sets about chasing her. Where's all that confidence from before? Fight me. Ducking and weaving around surprisingly accurate strikes, Tayuya grudgingly admits that Hidan did in fact have some skill to go along with his otherworldly technique. I just wanna see how pissed off you can get first. Blocking once with her weapon again, they both bounce away from each other. Mabel, you burst a blood vessel and die all on your own. It was getting harder to get hits in now that he wasn't trying to use his scythe around all these trees. Keeping close with a crazed grin pulling at his lips, Hidan edges closer and closer to drawing blood in his flurry of attacks. He, I can't wait to hear your screams. Grunting as he overextends an overhand strike and Tayuya retaliates with a strong forward kick that sends him rolling away. He regains his feet just in time to watch her switch weapons. A flute now in hand, a single large monster appears behind her carrying an even larger club than she had. What the fuck is that? Frowning as she had been intending to summon all three, Tayuya set to work with her flute, watching as Hidan is put back on the defensive as her doki set to doing its level best to crush him into the ground. As she watched and planned, she grunted as it was steadily getting harder to control not just her summon, but her chakra as well. That meant putting her plan into action and ending this now. Cursing her body and her inability to be as patient as the others, from her back a single chakra chain slithered down the back of her legs and burrowed into the ground out of sight. Hidan weaved and dodged as best as he could, beginning to laugh as the monster trying to send him over the horizon was beginning to slow down. I have to wonder. Sliding between the monster's legs and slashing at an ankle, he was already away and watching the backswing that sailed through the space that he occupied previously. I've been noticing, your chakra has felt off since we've started fighting. Ducking another wild swing as the monster tried to rise again, another slash along the back disabled its weapon arm with a growl. In fact, if I didn't know better, I'd say it's a delicate time of the month for you, isn't it? Cackling as he made distance between himself and Doki that could no longer follow him, he considered retrieving his scythe to restart his dance with the weakening woman. Ignoring the music floating through the air as the Doki's mouth began to open, Hidan pointed a finger at the glaring woman. I'm right, aren't I? This is why women are weak. A little blood and you're out for the count. Urging the Doki on, the spectral form of the chakra eater slithered forth to chase after the gloating man. Tayuya would have laughed at how close but how wrong he was, but that would have wasted precious time she didn't have. Activating her seal and transforming in hopes it would buy her some more time, she frowns as Hidan retrieves his scythe. He took a precious few seconds to remove the cable from his scythe, not bothering to untangle it from the branches for now, thus allowing the chakra vampire to latch onto him and begin draining his physical energy. Satisfied finally, Tayuya allowed herself to relax a bit. Guess it's time to end this. By the time the Doki is done siphoning off your physical energy, you'll be long dead. Grunting at the thing latched to his side and upper hip, Hidan learned quickly that stabbing it did nothing. What? Who cares about my physical energy or chakra? Hidan gave her the finger. My lord Jashin shall provide all the energy I need in order to kill you and continue his will. Suck all you want, I can keep right on going. Winding up, the scythe was thrown with a shout. Unable to move or dodge, the Doki's head was severed from its body, the ghostly form of the chakra eater dissolving shortly before the limp body despawned. Distracted as she was, Tayuya nearly missed the red spike leave Hidan's left hand while trailing a thin ninja wire. Shit. A second late and sluggishly dodging, the spike tore through her right side just along her ribs before retracting just as fast to Hidan already inscribing a seal on the ground in blood. Grunting and pushing a hand against the wound, dark eyes watched as Hidan was quick to run a pink tongue along his weapon, skin already beginning to darken and his form changing as his ritual began to take hold. And as it did, quiet and dark whispers entered his mind and with them knowledge. Oh ho ho ho. I was wrong. Jashin is pleased. So pleased. The best sacrifice of all is a woman with child. This is glorious. Thank you, Thank you Lord Jashin for this great offering. Spike held high and pointed towards his navel. A mad gleam entered Hidan's eyes as Tayuya fought to move through a sudden surge of nausea. Watch you dumb bitch as I sacrifice you and your child to my dark glow. Freezing in place with a jerk, Hidan is pinned in place by a glowing orange chakra chain having pierced his back and burst free from his chest. Fart. Transformation fading away, his mind was full of confusion. Grinning and starting to walk forward, Tayuya eyed the seal, destroyed by the chain tearing apart the ground on the way up. You know, you talk too much. Chain picking him up before smashing him into the ground once, twice and then a third time for good measure, it was quick to at last fling him against a tree where he was ripped free and lost his grip on his weapon. Spike sailing away to disappear into the underbrush, Tayuya exchanged weapons again as more chains burst from her back to wrap around his limbs and kept him still. Sure, his spine was severed and would ensure he was paralyzed, but no reason to not prepare. I can't believe this. You cheating so. You think this'll stop me? Come over here and I'll gnaw your fucking ankles off you Harridan. He pauses as the chains began to pull. What are you doing? Something my husband would approve of. With a thought an arm went sailing away mixed with the screams of a dying man. I wanna test just how immortal you are. So, let's see. With a grunt, his left arm met the same fate. Will blood loss matter? What about shock? Pain? Karen is into this sort of thing. I'm usually about the quick ends these days. Standing before him as he cursed and screamed at her, blood and spit splashing down his chin and soaking into the ground, she searched through her pockets for a soldier pill with her free hand and came out with a lollipop. Huh. Left over from one of her last visits with some school kids most likely. Popping it into her mouth and savoring the sugary sweetness, Tayuya grins with a mouth full of sharpened teeth. I wonder, will your God be merciful and let you die? I'll kill you. You. Your family. You friends. Everything. Screaming again as his legs were first crushed and then just as quickly ripped away, his torso was finally allowed to flop down onto the ground with a wet splat. Rolling over with work and effort, Hidan did in fact try to crawl towards her using just his chin. I'll kill with just my teeth. Raising a foot and pinning him in place, her kanabo was raised high as her chakra chains faded away. I did promise to turn you into paste, didn't I? Looking up at the dark-skinned and horned woman covered in blood, his blood, and shadowed by the sun high above him, something old and primal finally wormed its way into Hidan's mind. Was this fear? Was he afraid? How long had it been since he felt this way? Why had his lord's voice gotten so quiet? Lord Jashin will. Lord Jashin is a bitch. Tayuya's eyes seemed to glow. For threatening my unborn child and everything that I hold dear, you'll be calling me goddess by the time I'm done with you. And her weapon fell. B. Explosions rocked the area, trees fell in droves and Kakuzu's laughter filled the air as he watched his lightning and water masks keep the Jinchuriki busy in the air. Idling chasing after the long-haired blonde with several combinations of fire and wind attacks while hardened skin tanked weak explosions and kunai traps. Was this what the new generation had to offer? Pathetic. I hope you're enjoying this little game, girl, because when I'm done with you I'm still going to rip that monster from your comrade's gut. Fire and wind masks firmly seated on his shoulders, a combined fire blast tinged into the white spectrum erased a line of trees from existence. Yet still Naruto made it away, clothes smoking the only evidence that it was a close thing. Your luck will only hold for so long. Giving him the finger, Naruto considers her options. She needed to reserve chakra, which meant using every scroll and seal she had to maximum effect. While she wasn't equipped with some of their more explosive types, she still had plenty of variation. You're gonna eat those words, old man. Launching several kunai with modified explosive notes attached, she frowned as again his skin darkened and he tanked the blasts no problem. Damned earth chakra. Time to start ramping things up. Kakuzu himself was frowning further as he felt something was very wrong about the girl he was fighting against. Feeling out and touching his chakra against hers as they raced between trees, he finally figured it out as she yet again shunshined in order to avoid a wind blade that downed several trees. A clone. So you think I'm only worth fighting against a clone, do you? Well then. Stomping on the ground to raise up several earth pillars, he started a new chain of hand seals to begin a rock dragon technique. I'll hunt down your original and show her the errors of her ways. Such disrespect. Dotten. Earth bullet. Watching several large shards of rock launch to devastate an even large swath of land ahead of him, he mentally scoffs as a cloud of dust covers him for a moment. Kids these days think they can use clones and not encounter the danger themselves. Dashing in and laying several explosive notes all over his skin before continuing away from him and avoiding several reaching black tendrils, Naruto grins as she exits the smoke. I'm more than just a clone, Grandpa. The ensuing explosion rocks the area, trees swaying in the shock wave while leaves are sent spinning through the air. But Naruto already knows it wasn't enough, and a quick kawarimi carries her away from another enhanced fire blast that incinerates yet more of the surrounding woods. Unsealing 2 scrolls, one for each hand, she hops through several trees to make her way back around before a plan begins to work in her mind. I'm going to pick you apart piece by piece. Hope you have enough hearts to spare. Coming out into the open, she tosses a scroll his way. Turning at the sound of flapping cloth, a single blast of fire is already formed and let free. The scroll headed his way was burned to ash within seconds, and as the fireball snuffs out, a second scroll is already on the way. Fire mask recharging, he using the wind mask to blow the second scroll off course. Scroll turning black, a tendril of energy races for him, and more specifically the wind mask containing one of his hearts. Breaking it free, Kakuzu jumps away to watch as the scroll releases a black dome that envelopes his wind heart in a sphere of energy. There's a moment of struggle before his captured heart is reduced to dust and the scroll crumbles with its job done. Sucking his teeth, Kakuzu goes back to searching for the girl who is already hiding away in the tree cover. I'm going to have to rip your heart out just for that. Mentally sighing and glad that while Naruto had promised to seal certain techniques away, she sure as hell hadn't. But she didn't have a reserve of many seals or scrolls to use of that caliber. Unsealing 2 more scrolls, she continues her plan to keep him off balance as she leaps away from her hiding place behind a tree. I'm going to torture you thoroughly. She doesn't miss a grand fireball, reducing more of the tree cover to charcoal, smoke and fire beginning to engulf them both and reduce her available cover, but that was okay. She had already figured out that she didn't need to breath. This would only be another layer that hindered him. Watching her with a little more ease as she lost more and more cover, Kakuzu considers recalling either the lightning or water mask, even if it meant he would have to fight the two together. I'll have to take that other girl's heart as well after we pull the beast from her. Maybe I'll make you watch. Fire mask settling in next to his earth mask, he began mixing the chakra natures together. Hope you're ready for what you've started. Chest expanding slightly, the earth and fire nature chakra building in his lungs, he sighted the girl attempting to make for the trees again and let loose, Yoten, scorching stream rock technique. Several small boulder-sized projectiles are set loose, sending Naruto dodging and evading for all she was worth, while Kakuzu was given time to jump after her to close the distance. Caught off guard and losing a scroll in her haste, she unseals and palms another with a sigh. Of course the ninja with nearly 100 years of experience wasn't going to go down easily. Another shunshin carried her just behind him, dropping a scroll and racing away to avoid his tendrils again. She frowns as her opponent performs a kawarimi as well, a burning section of log reduced to melting slime, while she rethinks her tactics and hopes that Fu is having a better time than she is. Fu is having the time of her life, flying through the air while evading the lightning mask and the water mask with aerial acrobatics just above the tree cover. Not far away she could see smoke rising from a large area fire, but she was in no shape to check on Naruto. Her immediate plan was to put down the water mask, as both masks were attempting to combine attacks, and she saw it was painfully effective as it had already reduced more than a few trees to cinders. But the water mask was the slower of the two, and it gave her an idea. Rolling over a combined water blast filled with lightning that impacted a tree like a thunderbolt, she was then further forced to dodge for all she was worth around several follow-up lightning blasts as the lightning mask closed distance with her. However, she finally saw an opening. Finally, with an outpouring of speed as she doubles back and races away from the lightning mask that was following too close to her, she's able to drive a kunai deep into the mask of the water heart. There's a weightless moment as her hands drive the kunai deeper and her feet contact the beast's chest, and as it spasms and blood covers her hands, the construct collapses on itself, the thread turning to a black goo that falls from the air and covers her hands and feet. Oh man, I just got these sandals. Naruto is gonna kill me. Wings flapping hard to carry her up and avoiding another lightning blast that would have sent her down to the earth, Fu restarted the chase between her and the remaining mask. Now with a little more breathing room. Though with that extra breathing room, it seemed that the pursuing mask was fighting that much harder without having to worry about collateral damage with its partner. Leave me alone. You're gross. She considered that at this point she was only talking to herself, as the masks only seemed capable of combat and not much else. Looking back to keep an eye on it, she misses as she's driven a bit too low, clipping a tree and sent under the tree cover, flailing among the branches to crash and break her way further down below the canopy. The lightning mask was hot on her heels, a paralyzing shot flying faster than she could avoid to send her convulsing and screaming to the ground in a heap. Groaning and shaking her head to clear away the cobwebs, she has a blissful moment of freedom as her attacker has to circle back around. Gathering herself up, she notes the lightning mask charging up an attack that was approaching cage levels of scary. Well shit. Biju cloak instantly forming around her, she dives to the side and races away as another lightning attack cleanses the area. Thunder follows that rocks the area, and Fu mentally thanks Chome for lending a hand. Keeping low in order to weave in between trees as she thinks on a plan, she ignores the explosions of trees being hit by lightning and the superheated shards of wood that pelted off of her defensive cloak. Her blinding attack was out since this thing didn't have eyes, but she could attempt a web prison at least. Hands coming together as she flew, the light but sticky fluid of her webbing began to gather and stretch as she pulled her hands apart. Only one chance at this. Feeling the intervals of attacks beginning to decrease, she angles around a tree in order to see just how close the chakra beast has gotten. Seeing it less than a dozen meters behind her, she considers that it's either now or never. Flipping and landing feet first on a tree, she springs away directly towards her opponent. Not hesitating, a lightning blast greets her, but she's able to twist and ride just above it on momentum alone. Unable to dodge her, Fu stretched out her hands and released the webbing, capturing the beast and sending it into a tangle to crash through trees and land on the ground in a cloud of dust. Not assuming her binding will hold, she has a kunai in hand as she races after it. Roaring and twisting in the netting, the lightning mask twists up to meet her in an attempt to blast her a final time before Fu drives her kunai down to the ring into its heart. Shuddering and threads quaking, much like the water mask, it dissolves without any more effort. Standing in the puddle of black goo and frowning at the mess, Fu eventually stands and hops away with a sigh. Naruto really is going to kill me. Thinking about her chakra-formed girlfriend, Fu is soon back up and flying away to where she can feel the other battle going on. Covered in muck and dirt, she hoped Naruto wouldn't mind a bath together later. Naruto is on the run, fire blasts and earth spikes taking out trees and ground cover alike while she considers using a technique she wasn't happy about. Still, she didn't have much of a choice as a ball of literal lava sails over her head to burn through yet another tree. She needed something with a bit more kick and she was running low on scrolls. Another shunshin carries her away from a blast of molten rock, and Kakuzu's voice fills the area. I've been around a long time, girl. Fought men and women much stronger than you. You're an insect compared to me. Welling up something a bit faster, he tracks the girl as she dances among the flames of downed trees. Beginning to form a Rasengan in her left hand before slowly adding wind chakra to it, she continues to evade the errant fire and earth attacks. Only an old man like you could miss such an obvious thing. It'd take her longer as she kept having to move, but already the blades of the Raisin Shuriken were beginning to form. Me. Miss something. Don't make me laugh, child. Seeing the girl be forced to stop at a downed tree that blocked her way, he was instantly forming another new attack. Chest expanding again, he decided an area cleansing fire would suffice for her now. Surrounding by the roar of fires and dense smoke, he missing a bell-like tone beginning to rise. Kaiten, great fire annihilation. A sea of fire left his mouth as his body returned to normal, and mentally he challenged the small girl to avoid this one. Seeing the devastation headed her way, Naruto winds up before throwing the fully formed Raisin Shuriken with all her might. Chakra string keeping it stable, she watches as it easily cuts a path through the sea of flames to surprise the elder ninja. Seeing his skin blacken with more earth chakra than ever, she gives him the finger as fire decimates everything on either side of her to leave her in a small but protected cone. You lose, ya bastard. Raisin Shuriken connecting, it expands quickly into its customary large white dome that this time pulls in the surrounding smoke and flames. Adhering to the ground with chakra, Naruto watches the flames and smoke mingle with the wind chakra of the deadly technique with some slight awe. So pretty. Technique finally dissipating and leaving the fires extinguished in the area, Kakuzu groans and coughs as the fire mask crumbles and breaks into nothingness on his back. Body suddenly heavy and feeling like lead, he drops to his chest like a broken puppet. What the hell was that? Hearing feet crunch on the crated ground around him, he forces himself to look up at the grinning blonde that's already stripping off her jacket. Just what are you? Knowing the fight was over, Naruto folds her jacket, top, and then chainmail together. Placing them on the ground and shivering a bit at the air kissing her skin, she slowly begins to shift, something you should have left alone. And that attack. Watching her form shift and chest begin to split, he admitted that this was certainly a first for him. Wind-based attack that breaks the target down to the cellular level. Devastating stuff really. Chest beginning to open, she needed to finish this up fast before Fu found her. Watching the man laugh, she stalked towards his broken form. I was wrong. Cough asterisk, you were a good challenge. Well played. Closing his eyes and accepting his fate, his body is dragged into a teeth-filled warmth before he knew no more. Back on the road and jacket tied around her waist in order to bandage up her side, Tayuya continues to enjoy her sucker while a bundle of scrolls are tied together and bouncing along on her hip. Cursing as again the bandage doesn't want to stick properly, she still can't help humming a cheery tune as she waits for the others. She didn't feel any massive outpourings of chakra anymore, but she could still feel Fu and Naruto, so that was enough to assuage her worry. Grunting and wondering if maybe she should just leave it alone as again the bandage soaks up blood and leaves her tossing it away with a huff, she's greeted with shuffling bushes before Fu and Naruto join her along the road. Both are in one piece and dirty, but happily alive. Fu however is quick to jump to her side, tearing the bandages out of her hands in order to help. Ah, thanks Fu. No sweat. Guessing it was a close one. Fu's senses still told her something was still wrong, but her friend was alive. That was what mattered. Hissing as her wound was efficiently cleaned and then bandaged, Tayuya nods, yeah. Hidan got a lucky shot in. Free hand patting the scrolls on her hip, she grinned, got that asshole back though. Karen's going to have fun with him. Naruto raises an eyebrow at that, he's still alive. Seeing Tayuya nods, Naruto shudders, Jesus that guy's fucking weird. You ain't wrong. Tayuya hissed again as Fu wrapped bandages around her ribs and partially bound her chest tighter. I need to breath you know. Fu slapped her in the thigh, do you want to bleed out? Seeing the other woman shake her head, Fu stood back and admired her work, guess that's the best we're going to get for now till we get back. Tayuya nods and turns to leave, good, I was tired on waiting on Jarl anyway. Finish faster next time. Naruto shrugs, oh come on, these are S-ranked criminals after all, we gotta get some leeway right. Naruto eyes the scrolls that she assumed contained Hidan, what are you going to do with him? Shrugging Tayuya considered it for all of a second, scatter the useless bits in the Uzushiho Sea, and give Karen the head to mess with. I'm sure he has some information we could use. She didn't want to consider just how he was staying alive. But it broke her mind less if she just decided to chalk it up as wizard ninja bullshit. Turning a little green, Fu sighs, that's horrifying. Naruto grins, any chance we can put him back together and do it again? She didn't avoid Fu's slap, what? That's disturbing. It's me. And, point. Chuckling Tayuya links her hands behind her back, careful not to stretch her ribs, I'm so going to relax for a day straight after, stumbling and slurring her words for a second, Fu catches her while Naruto supports her on her other side. Woo, guess I lost a little more blood than I thought. Naruto shook her head, idiot. Fu agrees, something tells me you shouldn't have been out here fighting. Tone not quite mothering, but Tayuya felt chastised all the same. Sorry, and yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't have, but let's keep that between us, huh? Naruto slings one of Tayuya's arms over her shoulders, promise to keep to the desk until Naruto returns. Getting a nod, Naruto focuses ahead and down the road, then I guess I can shut up about it. Fu takes her other arm as she smiles brightly, we took down 2 more Akatsuki members. We're such badasses. Tayuya couldn't help but slump, woo. We need more energy. Come on, woo. Tayuya reached over and poked Fu in the ribs, earning a squeak, I'll personally tie you up and leave you somewhere if you do that in my ear again. You're no fun. I might like that. Naruto was leering at her girlfriend who was beginning to darken. Na-chan. Fu pouted and blushed, not in front of people. Tayuya slumped further and grumbled as the pair supporting her set about flirting back and forth. Naruto better hurry back, I need my cuddles. It was going to be a long walk back to Wave B. Having returned home and meandered their way through the city towards the tower, Hinata, Ino, Karen and Honoka have finally returned to Uzushiho. Around them the city seems to be abuzz with news, an electric energy that wasn't there when they had left. Perhaps Naruto had returned. Greeting civilians and ninja alike as they made their way, they figured they would have their answer when they reached the tower and delivered their report. Paying their respects to the Uzumaki monument and noting the current deep red and blue flowers that currently surrounded it, they made their way inside with even more noise and activity. Karen and Honoka are the first to bid the others farewell, Honoka leading the way. We should get this scroll situated and stabilized until Naruto returns. Wouldn't want something crazy to happen. Winking at the others, Honoka is in high spirits. Karen nods, we'll take some time off after we place the Sanbi under heavy seal. On my honor. Ino frowns and points at the pair as they make their way to the elevators. Aha, and how are you gonna accomplish that? They better not be planning on taking turns holding that thing until Naruto returns. Karen's grin grew just a bit, chakra storage seals and chakra batteries from spring. We can power a containment seal for the Biju for a few weeks at least, so we should have plenty of time until Naruto returns. They still had no doubt Naruto would be returning on his timeline of a single month of training. Chaotic he may be, but he held to his goals. Saluting the pair as they reached the elevators, Hinata smiled and let them go. We all need a good rest after this mission. We'll catch up later. Both pairs of women entered different elevators, and they were all off to their own destinations. Hinata and Ino headed up to the cage's level to update Tayuya. I'm so tired. Ino nods and reaches up to rub her shoulders. You said it, that was a doozy of a mission. Fighting with herself before deciding not to unzip her top slightly for some relief, she contented herself with the knowledge that soon they would be home and able to lounge around and relax. Elevator pausing early with a ding, they both are met with a stoic-looking Neji while flanked by a happy-looking Kana and a tired-looking Jin. Look who the cat dragged in. Stepping in as Hinata and Ino gave them room, Neji bowed his head lightly. I assume your mission went well. Hinata nods as Ino pokes and prods at Kana and asks about her progress, which sent the other woman into a pout. Well enough. Found the Sanbi and captured it, but we ran into some interference from Kumo. We did have to drop off some new immigrants with Tsunami though, one of which may be a good addition to the ranks. Neji sniffed at that. I hope you aren't picking up Naruto's bad habits. Hinata giggled. Maybe a little. Ino leaned around to poke her friend in the cheek as the door opened. Maybe a lot. Letting her hand be swat away, they file out and look at the flurry of movement here on the cage floor as well. Do you have any idea what's happened since we left? Neji shook his head. No, we only just returned ourselves. Jin looks around with slow motions. Something must have happened while we were away. Something big. Even the Undertow squads are all gone. Everyone wonders at that as they reach the office, being ushered inside quickly to a tired-looking Tayuya completing paperwork. Off to the side and nestled under the wall of weapons with a new triple-bladed addition, Kyuki and Kotohime look up and wave to the group. Helping out with paperwork themselves, while a tea set sits between them, Neji and his team step forward first to give their report. Lady Tayuya. Seeing he had her attention, Neji nods. Mission complete. Bandits all taken care of and eliminated. Great news. Taking the scroll from him and thinking about it, she begins to shuffle for another one quickly. I know you lot just got back and we normally mandate some rest time. But I have something urgent if you're willing. Neji nods right away. Of course, Lady Tayuya. Kana and Jin stand a bit straighter as they sense there is some urgency here. Anything for the good of Uzushiho. Nodding, Tayuya pulls free a scroll and hands it to him. While you were away, the Land of Sky attempted to attack Uzushiho. We threw him off easily enough. But we need answers, so we're on the hunt. The Land of Sky is a long boat ride, so rest up on the way. Neji bows along with Jin and Kana. We'll see it done. Are there any special orders? Tayuya thinks about it some more before nodding. Just a bit. This is an information mission. However, initial interrogation has heard mentions of a great fortress. If you find it, great, relay the information to us quickly. However, if you have opportunities for sabotage or destruction without putting yourselves at risk, do so. Neji stands straight and grins, it'll be done. Behind him Kana groans as they turn away, no baths. Rest time. Warm food. Jin grins and nudges her, you're just mad you don't get to hound Takeo back at home. Duh. But you're not supposed to say that out loud. Grinning Neji shakes his head and gives in just this once, we'll have plenty of time to relax on the ship headed to the land of sky, who knows what can happen then. That has Kana's eyes sparkling, no fooling. Yes, let's go. Hinata's voice does have them slowing down just a bit, her tone of voice worrying them, Tayuya, are you alright? Waving a hand to hopefully forestall any more questions, Tayuya puts on a grin, I'm just fine, look, never better. Pulling up her left arm to flex, she hopes everyone misses her flinch as her ribs protest the motion. As Neji passes Hinata to leave, they both share a firm nod with each other. Then the other team is gone, and Hinata and Ino step forward to sit in the chairs before the desk with some focus. Ino leading the way, our mission was a success, Sanbi secured and sealed away and Kiri is happy with the assist. Though Kumo tried to interfere. They're becoming a bigger problem by the day. Leaning her chin on a hand, Tayuya thinks on that, it was also sniffing around. Things aren't looking good. Also, Ino braced for the news she was going to have to drop, the Mizukage was rather adamant that Naruto come and visit soon. Thanks in part to a certain hothead. I regret nothing. You should. All your brains went to your tits. She needed to be humbled. I'll humble you. Ladies. Grunting with effort, Tayuya sighed as Ino and Hinata turned to look at her. You egged on May and now she wants to ride the Naruto special. Seeing them both nod, Tayuya reaches up and begins to rub at her temples. Well, it's not the worst thing that could have happened. Anything else? Ino grins, May is absolutely bigger than Hinata. I will tie you up and make you watch Naruto and I next time he returns. Ooh, scary. What if I like that? Hinata and Tayuya pause and stare at the leering Ino before Tayuya sighs and relaxes back, you are a complete degenerate. Just for Naruto. The wall chimes, catching all of their attention and forcing Tayuya to stand. Any chance that's May already calling to bug me? Seeing the girls shrug, Tayuya reached the wall where a dark monitor rests and presses a few buttons. Within moments the screen comes to life and they are greeted with the grinning face of Tsunade. Oh. Long time no see. Hey there kiddos. Good to see you alive and well. You've filled out some haven't you? Blushing a bit, Tayuya nods, just a bit Lady Tsunade. To what do we owe the call? Just checking in. Sighing and wishing that was true, Tsunade shook her head, nope. I know Naruto is away for now so I've tried to schedule it out a bit, but I've called for a summit of the 5 cage. She pauses as the girls on the other side of the call all gasp and collect themselves, I'm of course sponsoring Naruto to attend as well. Hinata is the first to speak up as Tayuya leans against the desk, what are the chances the other cage will attend? Shrugging and showing she wasn't too concerned about it, Tsunade ticks off with her fingers, Suna will, Kiri most likely will to solidify the newest cage, Iwa will because Onoki is too traditionalist not to. Kumo, well, a will come I think so long as the rest of us do. He won't want to lose face. Tayuya nods as Hinata seems to think all of that over, we'll make sure to plan and head that way as soon as Naruto returns. You'll send us the details yes. Of course. Current date is 3 weeks from now, if you have an issue let me know and I'll try to stall for time. Tsunade wanted to make sure Naruto was there. Most of the tensions she was seeing on the rise had to do with him after all. They could nip this early. Ino is grinning as she could tell the serious stuff was over and done with, so, when are you moving to a zoo? We've got a nice little beach house all ready for you. Find me someone to take this hat and I'm there. All this political posturing is starting to wear me out. I wanna act my age and spoil my grandchildren. Hinata giggles, grandchildren. Shouldn't it be great-grandchildren by now? You wanna comment on that? Of course not Lady Tsunade. Good. Take care girls, we'll see you soon. Call cutting, the Uzumakis were left alone in the office. Tayuya is already making back for the chair with a groan. Naruto better hurry up. I am not dealing with the other cage. Ino nods, not like Naruto would want us to. He'd literally drag himself through glass in hell to be there. Mostly on the off chance he could punch out the rakeage, but he'd still be there. Hinata is still contemplative, seems like things are accelerating aren't they? Shaking herself finally, Hinata turns firmer eyes to Tayuya, so, Wanna update us on what else happened while we were gone? Tayuya sighs again but nods, sure. Let me tell ya about those Akatsuki fuckers. Hopefully they wouldn't pry too much. B. Tired, dirty, but finally on a ship, Kurotsuchi gives thanks that she's now on her way to Uzushiho. Her new friend Toby has decided to tag along, but she's still mainly focused on her own goal of beating the tar out of the maelstrom. Just you wait, you blonde bastard. I'm coming for you. Toby himself is leaning against the boat's rails as Kurotsuchi chuckles darkly. He's more than a little irritated with the Iwa woman. From the land of bears, to the land of waterfalls and then finally to the land of frost. They has somehow hit every major biome on the planet as well. From forests and woodland, to wide open plains and even a desert. How the hell did they hit a desert but never cross into wind country? It made no sense. But it was finally enough. They were on a ship and on their way to Wave, where hopefully he would quickly be away from this crazy woman and free to go to the land of water to track down the Sanbi. While this little distraction had taken up some time, he should still be on track to capture the beast and continue his plan. Kurotsuki is grinning as she slings an arm over his shoulders. You know what? You're a good navigator. What do ya say? Why not join me in Iwa? I could use someone like you. Toby thinks Kurotsuki has a wonderful talent for navigation all her own. Sending the girl smiling and playfully slapping his arm, he didn't mention that he had a mental bet going that she could get lost in a locked closet. At least someone acknowledges my greatness and womanly charm. I still need to get back at that Kumo-nin as well. Toby had to bite his tongue before the comment of, what womanly charms, left his mouth. It would only delay his travel further. In the distance Toby can see dark clouds, flashes of light are there, but no thunder reports as of yet, so it was a long way off. At least, it should be. Say, maybe you wouldn't mind helping me, see I've got this mission ya know. Well, self-imposed, but it's a mission nonetheless. I'm going to be the future Tsuchikage after all. So, tuning her out, Toby had only one real thought on his mind at the moment. If they were hit by a storm, he was going to kill this girl. B. Time finally here, Naruto was finishing up packing his things and thanking the Elder Toads, more than ready to return home. Blue eyes taking in everything, he mentally thanks the stars that it all went well and mostly how he had hoped, with a few hiccups that ended up begin manageable. I'm off. I've got a job to do. Fukasaku nods, take care my boy. Don't overdo it, and take care of those girls of yours. I will Fukasaku-sama. Shima was next to him, patting his leg, make sure to eat plenty and rest when you get back. And come visit often, don't end up like Jiraiya boy you hear. Yes ma'am, I won't. Good. Bowing to them both, Naruto flashes away, leaving the elder toads to lean against each other. Shima speaks up first, should we have held him here longer? Fukasaku shook his head, from here on he has all the tools he needs. We aren't needed to help spur on his growth anymore. Grinning and gazing out over the misty mountains, Fukasaku nods, that boy is going to be fine. He better be. I'll pound you both into dust if he isn't. You worry too much. You don't worry enough pa. It was late at night when he returned to the human realm, but Naruto didn't care. Appearing back on the roof of the Uzumaki Tower, he breathed deep of the fresh air of his home. A month was absolutely too long to be away from here, and with the lull of noise from the slowly winding down city enveloping him, Naruto finally felt something inside of him relax in a way it hadn't since he had left. Everything seems to be okay and in one piece. Feeling out, he could tell that all of the girls were home as well, wonderful. It's a good thing, see, you worried over nothing. I'm paranoid, bite me. You're the one who keeps saying those girls are powerful and can take care of themselves. If you believe that, you shouldn't have to worry. True. Naruto grins and with a flash he's in his room. Seeing no one here, he dumps his bag on the floor and feels out more carefully. Seems like everyone's in the bath. Perfect. Quickly shucking his clothes and finding a plush blue robe to walk around in, Naruto makes his way to the baths. Think they'll be surprised. It'll be a contest to see who jumps you first. I don't think it'll be that bad. I hope it'll be that bad. Pervert. And, Naruto rolled his eyes, you know, now we're back in reality. Which means figuring out what to do with Kumo. Should we hit them first? Hard and fast. Kurama lazily flicks his tails back and forth, powered up as we are, Gyuki is still no pushover. You go in hot like that and you'll be dealing with him and the rakeage all at once. And you won't sacrifice civilians like that. True. The other Jinchuriki is going to be a tough one, I just know it. You can take him, don't be a bitch. I'll tell him that when I see him. Taking his time to rinse off and wash up as he entered the actual bathing area, it's with a bright smile that Naruto walks out to gasps from the others, "Hey everyone. I'm home." He doesn't know who slams into him first, but several bodies eventually drag him into the water in a tangle of limbs. Feeling all the love and warmth of his family around him, Naruto finds his feet and stands with some effort. Hey, I need to breath ya no. Wet hair covering his eyes and a good portion of his face, he realizes with a start that he had neglected it in his time away. Kyuki and Kotohime are given priority and allowed to crush into his sides while the others all back away but stay within easy touching distance as they all settle into the water. Says you, no more solo vacations like that. It was too long. Kyuki pokes him in the ribs while Kotohime has her hands in fists at chest level and nods quickly in agreement. First, it wasn't a vacation but heavy intensive training. I had to eat bugs and listen to Jiraiya's poetry. Also, Jiraiya wants to take me on a world tour. Ino shakes her head, no way. He'll turn you into a pervert like him. Hinata nods, you're the right amount of pervert right now, we can't let him corrupt you. Chuckling and relaxing into the embrace of the water and the women around him, Naruto sighs and nods, so, what's been happening? What I miss? Everyone looks to Hinata, who nods and gets ready to explain things. Karen however interrupts with a gasp as she points at Naruto's face. Your eyes. Blinking, Naruto looks at everyone as they all stare at him with slowly widening eyes themselves. What? Something wrong. What did I do? Kotohime reaches forwards to gently turn his cheek her way, such a pretty shade of blue. Hinata smiles softly, I thought we lost your blue eyes forever. Ah, right, he forgot he had full control of his eyes again. So much had changed. Oh yeah, my training saw the Rinnegan evolve and complete itself while I was away. Kurama chuckled, want to flex a bit. Show em what else we can do. We blow up the house, no dice. Spoil sport. Seeing everyone settle down, Hinata gets back to explaining everything. Well, we captured the Sanbi for the Mizukage. We plan on releasing it in the Uzushiho waters with your help. That's amazing. I'm proud of you guys, that's great. Naruto was proud of them. Taking on a Biju and winning. That was badass. Ino preens as Karen and Honoka high five, yes, praise us more. We are wonderful battle goddesses to be worshipped. Naruto nods, damn straight. Getting giggles from the others, he motions for Hinata to continue, what else? Ino picks up as Hinata suddenly didn't want to continue, your boob monster of a wife got in a fight with said Mizukage, and now she wants you to come and visit like ASAP. So you have a meeting to attend. He should have expected that one, but still turns raised eyebrows to a bashful Hinata, really? She deserved it. Really? Well, you see. Hinata looked into his eyes and suddenly she was that nervous genin girl in Konoha again, pressing her fingers together with worry, I'm sorry. Grunting, Naruto smiled in a way that he hoped was disarming, don't worry about it. What's one more cause I'm sure that's what she wants. Seeing all four girls that had been on the mission look everywhere but him, he could already feel his energy fading. Yay. Are you really complaining about another super hot woman wanting your babies? You know what, no. Naruto was not going to complain. Naruto was a good boy. Believe it. Tayuya held up a hand this time, we also had an attempted attack from the land of sky, which we held off and sent them to the bottom of the ocean. Though now we're hunting them down to figure out why they attacked us. Seeing Naruto become introspective, she continues, so far we know there might be some fortress out there for us to worry about, but not much else. We're still waiting on information from Neji's team. Okay, we'll keep up on that then. I think Neji has a Haracian tag, so he can call me if needed. Is he close enough to update him of my return by radio? Seeing the girls nod, Naruto grins, good. I wouldn't want to miss out on any of the fun after all. Now was the part Tayuya didn't want to get to. Two Akatsuki members also showed up. Me, Fu and Naruto took care of them. All's well with us and Fu and Naruto are somewhere in the house, celebrating, still. Naruto's eyes were firmly fixed on her suddenly, and Tayuya began to fidget. Okay, Yeah, I was hurt a little, but I'm fine now, see. Standing a bit and showing off clear skin with just a hint of scaring, Tayuya still was under Naruto's hard gaze. I wasn't reckless or anything like that. It was, no, just a lucky shot. That's all. Naruto was standing after freeing himself from Kotohime and Kyuki, who both gave her knowing looks. I have something else to bring up. Don't be mad. Naruto was within arm distance now and Tayuya was beginning to tremble. What if he was pissed off with her? She went and battled an S-rank ninja while her chakra control was shot. She knew better. She could have died. And he was hugging her gently, a warmth suffusing her and pushing all of her worries away. Unbidden, tears began to fall down her cheeks and she clutched at his shoulders. You don't have to freak out, I can tell. Tayuya nods and buries her face in his shoulder. I didn't want to believe it at first, though it was just the stress. That I was just worried about running the village. And then things started getting weird, and my control started getting worse, and then I didn't have my monthly and. She embraced him harder as the girls around her had varying reactions of shock, or in Hinata's and Kyuki's cases, knowing. I didn't want to say anything. I wanted you to be the first to know. To be the first I told. Naruto pulls away, blue eyes looking into her own brown. Okay, so. Let's hear it. I'm home now. Clearing her tears away and still failing, Tayuya clutches her hands together in front of herself with a bright smile. Welcome home, Papa. You're gonna be a daddy. The girls all erupt into cheers around her, Ino and Karen dragging her into the water in their excitement. But she doesn't care. The man she loved was looking at her with such acceptance, such love, she knew he wouldn't be going anywhere. Being pulled back up by Honoka while Hinata berated the pair, she kept her gaze locked on Naruto, who had his hands on his hips and was smiling as well. Guess we're going to have to make another announcement then. I wonder how long the party is going to last this time. Kyuki smiled, considering the last one. Probably a whole week. Gently rubbing the bump that was beginning to grow in her belly, she wondered if she should who Tayuya her baby name list. Far away across the northeastern sea, a panting and drained Amaru is being locked in a cell. Dirty, bruised and mentally broken, she watches on as Shino walks away from her without a further care about her. Using an Uzumaki remnant in order to crush the rebuilt Uzumaki home nation will be some real interesting poetic justice. The world banded together to crush those know-it-all heathens once. I don't hazard to guess why they thought we wouldn't do it again. Shino turned a glowing eye back to the weakened girl. Not that you should be concerned with that. And don't worry, I won't leave you alone here for long. Once I'm done with them, I'll be sending you to join them in the afterlife. Kumo wanted me to send you to them as a breeder, but I plan on wiping them off the map as well. A dark chuckle leaving his throat as he turned away, he waved over his shoulder as he walked. Farewell, little Uzumaki. Know your sacrifice was the final piece needed to revive the great nation of the Land of Sky. Footsteps echoing off the stone walls long after she lost sight of him, Amaru lay weakly on the stone floor. Demoralized and beaten, Amaru silently prays for someone to help, to save her. Why was the world so cruel? Was her fate really to be the catalyst that ended her clan? Her people? That someone she looked up to and loved would do this, maybe she deserved to die this way. Shino's laughter fills the halls as he comes before a revived Zero Tails. With the revival of the Ankavantian, the Land of Sky will have no one to fear in this world. While it is only a fraction of its former self, it will be more than enough to take on any nation on the planet. Grinning as the chakra beast turned to face him, Shino's smirk turned into something touched with more than a small amount of madness. I'll rule this world. Burn it to ash and rebuild it in my image. And you will help me, Zero. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.